UN chief says fossil fuels, incompatible with human survival, calls for credible exit strategy.
Here's a summary of the article.
Berlin, the head of the United Nations launched a tirade against fossil fuel companies Thursday, accusing them of betraying future generations and undermining efforts to phase out a product he called incompatible with human survival. It's not the first time the UN chief has called out big oil over its role in causing global warming, but the blunt attack reflects growing frustration at the industry's recent profit bonanza despite warnings from scientists that burning fossil fuels will push the world far beyond any safe climate threshold. It's fossil fuels, period. Advertisement. Al Jaber, who is also the UAE's Minister of Industry and Chief Executive of the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, has come under fire from environmentalists and Western lawmakers for his close ties to the fossil fuel industry. Advertisement. In a statement, Al Jaber's office noted that he has backed ramping up of renewable energy, recently called the phase down of fossil fuels inevitable, and urged the industry to up its game when it comes to cutting emissions. Guterres echoed their concerns, warning that fossil fuel companies are undermining climate measures and said they must cease and desist influence peddling and legal threats designed to kneecap progress. Governments should also switch subsidies from fossil fuels to clean energy projects, end licensing or funding of new oil and gas projects and put a price on carbon emissions, he said.
This post received a score of 26,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I think about that comic all the time. Sure, we destroyed the planet, but for a beautiful moment in time, we created a lot of value for shareholders.
What if it's a big hoax and we create a better world for nothing? Tilda David Bent.
Greater than Kilgore Trout once wrote a short story which was a dialogue between two pieces of yeast. They were discussing the possible purposes of life as they ate sugar and suffocated in their own excrement. Because of their limited intelligence, they never came close to guessing that they were making champagne.
Exit strategy for fossil fuels not compatible with my desire for oodles of cash money, oil executives.
They could have made more money by riding the next S-curve instead of holding onto the tail of fossil fuels. Unfortunately, success does not guarantee competence in this system.
I'm sure they would tell you that they didn't want to take on that financial risk.
Human extinction is pretty bad for the economy too, it turns out.
But they are infallible. They have all this money. What good is it when the power goes out and thousands of hungry people have nothing to lose by eating you?
You use all that money to buy arable land, farmers to grow food on it, construction workers to wall it off, and mercenaries and/or drones to shoot, blow up everyone who attempts to enter. You make sure all the poor people are living far away, in high-density cities where they have no choice but to fight each other to death for meager resources. That thins out the numbers so that the ones who end up trying to enter your compounds aren't turning up in overwhelming numbers. The only problem with this strategy is that it won't last. The only way to maintain your mercenary force is to pay them with something of greater value than the risk they are taking. If the world is trying to eat you, the escape route isn't to hide in a bunker but to drive people to fight each other instead of you. Keep them divided by any means and you won't have to worry about yourself because they'll be too busy going after each other. Keep them divided by any means and you won't have to worry about yourself because they'll be too busy going after each other. You want arable land a long fucking way from any city because that way you aren't going to get overrun by swarms of people. If it takes 20 years for climate change to really kick off, the mercenary bit won't be an issue at all. You have robot replacements who won't revolt against you.
Most absurd thing is setting targets for 2050, with some countries going even later, when we're seeing catastrophic consequences today. The very least we could do is immediately stop allowing new coal power plants to be built, ban trade with any country that does. Next after that, stop subsidizing them, stop allowing subsidies, let them die because they aren't profitable when faced with reality.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.